Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Sunday, July the 19th. And welcome to our commentary. Well, before we get to the World Cup, and that ended, of course, today with Spain defeating Argentina 1-0. It was I guess not being an expert in soccer, from what they tell me, that it was a good game, and I enjoyed it. So I've got some thoughts about that in the cup in a few minutes. But I want to begin. I have a post over at the American Thinker today. It's gotten a lot of comments, so I always appreciate that. And it's basically about a situation going on in New York, in the state of New York. In New York, there is a group of nuns who have been providing health care, hospice care, to people, elderly people, for quite some time. They take care of these people. They provide them with assistance. In many cases, these people don't have families. They don't have a lot of, they're kind of what I guess I would call lonely people sometimes. They don't have a lot of family. They don't have a lot of resources. And the nuns have been providing care for them for a long time. And, the nuns survive out of contributions and donations. They may get some money from the state. I'm not sure. But it's not probably their main source of funds. And the state of New York passed a law, this LGBTQ law, that basically says that, medical facilities, hospitals had to put people in either in the bathroom or in their rooms, based on their sexual identity, not their biological sexual identity, but whatever they felt. If you're a man and you feel like you're a woman, then you have to be treated like a woman. You have to be use the woman's bathroom and all that kind of stuff. And the nuns said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that to our patients. We've been doing it this way forever. And for us, a man is a man, a woman is a woman. And we're not in the business of pronouns. We're in the business of taking care of people. And, the state of New York is, threatening to sue them. And the whole thing is just insanity. I mean, the whole thing is just insanity. And I've got to believe that most people in New York, they're probably not even familiar with this story. But if they were, they would be on the side of the nuns. These are nuns who are doing tremendous work, taking care of people, usually elderly people. Why do they have to put up with this kind of harassment about pronouns? Let the nuns do their job, which is a wonderful job that they do anyway. And, if the state of New York wants to do whatever they want to do, that's fine. But let these nuns do their work. Nobody's objecting to their work. But, again, this is what's happening to the Democrat Party. They have these people who've taken over the party, who force these things, and then if you don't support them, they'll primary you. So a lot of Democrats, I assume the governor of New York is one of them, are just scared to death of a primary. So they go along with these people, and then they take it out on these nuns who are simply trying to take care of elderly people. I mean, it's really ridiculous. You would think that the governor of New York would go back to the legislature and say, hey, come on, guys, let's do an exemption for these nuns and let them continue doing their work. What harm are they doing? They're doing absolutely no harm. On the contrary, they're providing a tremendous service for the people in New York who need it. But, that's what I'm saying. That's the state of the Democrat Party these days. And the governor of New York could show a little profile and courage, as I say in my post, by simply standing up to these groups and saying, come on, let's leave the nuns alone. Let them do their work, and let's do an exemption for the nuns or any other religious group that is treating people like this. And we got bigger things to do. I mean, the state of New York has bigger things to do than to go after a bunch of nuns who are taking care of elderly people. I mean, the state is losing business. The state is losing taxes. And so why are they picking fights with nuns who are simply taking care of people? I don't know. But again, it's just a lack of leadership. And there needs to be somebody in New York who simply says, folks, yes, we did pass that law, but we're going to exempt these nuns from that law. and just leave it at that. Let the nuns go on doing their doing their work. I mean, it is, on one hand, it makes me angry that these nuns are being put through that. And then at the same time, it just makes me realize how crazy things are getting in the Democrat Party, that they would even write a law like this. I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous. It's just almost like Exhibit A of everything that is going on with the Democrat Party. By the way, I have a post, speaking of New York, I have a post coming out Monday talking about the mayor of New York who wants to arrest or facilitate the arrest of the Prime Minister of New York, or the Prime Minister of Israel, the next time he goes to New York. Well, first of all, the mayor of New York City doesn't have that authority to arrest a foreign leader. I mean, New York City is the host of the United Nations, and there are certain responsibilities, of course, that they have taking care of these visitors, and arresting them is not one of them. Also, this particular International Court of Justice, or whatever he's using as a reference, we're not a part of that. There's no jurisdiction in that International Court of Justice to come into the United States and arrest people. They don't have that power over the United States or in the United States. But again, it's just crazy stuff going on in the Democrat Party. And, you know, man, the party needs to have, somebody in that party needs to just shake them up a little bit and say, folks, we're killing ourselves with all this woke stuff. Let's just drop it and let's govern. Why don't we try to get some things done, like, you know, taking care of the streets, taking care of the bridges, making sure that our public schools are actually working for the students and not for the teachers union. So I've got that one coming out tomorrow Monday. Well, the World Cup was a smashing success. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, Spain ended up beating Argentina in the final game. You know, the experts, I'm not an expert on soccer and certainly not on the World Cup, but the experts that were, you know, talking about the game said that Spain was a better team. No question about that. They certainly played like a better team today. But, you know, that was a very close game. It was only 1-0. So you got to give Argentina a lot of credit for holding on. Argentina also has what most people think is the best player in the game, and that's Messi. And this probably will be his last World Cup. So there was a little emotion there as well. But I think as far as the United States is concerned, this was a big smashing success. And I hope we get to do it again. Because, first of all, I'm sure there was a lot of business that came into the country, and that's always a good thing. But I think a lot of people from other countries got to travel to the United States, and they got to see maybe a part of the country that you don't see in movies or television shows or political attacks. You know, I think a lot of them got to see the interior of the country. Here in Texas, we have a place called Buc-ee's that became a real fan favorite. People from Germany and people from Australia and people like that who came here. And, you know, I think the more they met the American people became great diplomats for the United States. And I think that was the big winner of it all. Having these people from other countries where they're hearing all these terrible things about the United States, all of a sudden they come here and they're delighted with Americans. They're delighted with air conditioning and things like that, that we're lucky enough to enjoy. So I think overall it was a smashing success for the United States. And I hope we get to do it again. I don't know how it works, how the cycle works, when do we get to do it again, but I hope we do. The only thing that I would change, just a small thing that I would change, I would host the final game in Dallas, Texas, or in the Dallas Stadium. Or actually, it's in Arlington, Texas, not Dallas, but they call it the Dallas Stadium, I guess, because it's easier that way. But I would have hosted the final here in what we call the Metroplex. I think the Metroplex, first of all, the facility is second to none. And number two, I think getting around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I'm sure, is a heck of a lot easier than getting around New York. So the next time, I hope that they give the Dallas-Fort Worth area the final game, because I think we're ready for it. We've got the perfect place and infrastructure for a final game. But again, overall, I think it was a great victory for the United States, and one that I think people will remember, and I'm sure they made soccer fans out of some people too, and I'm sure that was part of the objective as well. So congratulations to Spain, congratulations to Argentina, congratulations to all the countries who played. I think we can, we can also be proud for what we did here in the United States. I think we were great hosts, and that's important. So bring it back. That's all I can say. Bring it back to the United States. Bring the World Cup back to the United States. Let me leave you today with just a quick on this day and birthday, a birthday greeting. Actually, I want to say happy number 85 to Vicky Carr. Now, again, if you're part of my generation, you remember Vicky Carr. She was a very popular singer. But, I didn't know at the time that I was listening to her songs back in the late 60s that Vicky Carr was actually from El Paso, Texas. And her real name, of course, was not Vicky Carr. It was some long Spanish name. So, and then, of course, I learned later that she made Spanish music too, or she made records in Spanish because she was totally bilingual. So Vicky Carr, a very talented lady from El Paso, Texas, who became a real international superstar. Happy number 85 to Vicky Carr of El Paso, Texas. Thank you for listening. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.